What's good, everybody? It's your boy Todd Smith here once again alongside my tag team partner Dale Clifford out there in Friendly, Nevada. Welcome to yet another edition of the No Gimmicks Podcast, broadcasting on the 3 and Out Radio Network. Dale, what's good, my man?
What up, Todd? Here we go. Another week at it, and we've got another indie wrestler spotlight. So let's go ahead and get this thing started.
Yes, sir. So joining us, we have the Hitman for Hire, Mr. Grimm. Mr. Grimm, what's good, my man?
How are you?
Hey, not much. So we're going to go ahead and dive right on into this. So why did you choose to join the pro wrestling business? How long have you been wrestling, and who has trained you?
Why did I choose? It's something that I've always wanted to be a part of. I just didn't know how to get into it.
Okay.
So one day I was doing security, and my friend, he had contacted me, asked if I wanted to do security for a wrestling company. I believe it was called RCW, and it was in Baltimore, Maryland. So I did the show, did security for the show, and started networking and found out exactly how and what I needed to do to be a part of the wrestling business.
Okay.
This month actually makes 4 years since I've been wrestling.
Right on.
Didn't think it was, it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it has.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trained by a guy named Matt Wild. I was at EWA in Baltimore, Maryland, and he was the guy that, pretty much brought me in the business, and, even to this day, still helps me out. So.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Dale, what you got for Mr. Grimm?
So what promotions have you had the chance to work for?
You want all of them?
Yeah, your biggest
ones. The few that you've really enjoyed working for, at least.
All right. Well, I've enjoyed most of them, but definitely Canadian Wrestling Elite. That was when I made my first tour in Canada. Wrestlers Lab, they're based out of New York. Limitless Wrestling, they're based out of Maine. Of course, the Monster Factory, I've done a show there.
Okay.
That's in New Jersey. Baltimore Championship Wrestling, there in Baltimore, Maryland. Legacy Wrestling, that's in Pennsylvania. They do a great job at bringing in, good talent, good names. It's always fun up there. Trying not to miss anybody, but it's just like so many. Oh, XWA, they're in Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy working for them. Just like so many different companies.
Yeah.
But give me a second, just so I don't miss anybody. We'll just stick with that for right now.
Okay. Fair enough. So, who have you enjoyed working against the most, would you say? Like, who's been some of your favorite opponents?
Definitely AR Fox. I've had 2 matches with AR Fox, and, those matches were great. Joey Janela, I had a match with him at Limitless. I enjoy working with him. I would have to say off the top of my head, those would definitely be, the top 2 people that I enjoy working.
Okay. AR Fox from here in Connecticut, matter of fact.
Yeah, he is from Connecticut. Yeah, I forgot to mention Jax Dane. I got the chance to work him at Bandit Wrestling, and how could I miss? I had the opportunity to debut for Rockstar in Ohio, so I definitely enjoyed that as well.
Okay. So for being in the business for 4 years, man, you definitely covered quite a bit of ground. So that's good that you've got that exposure and the opportunity, wrestle in front of different types of crowds and whatnot. So Dale, what you got next for Mr. Grimm here?
So one of the moves that you do that stands out to us is the spinning pile driver. You got a name for this move?
Yeah, it's called the Contract Complete.
I like it. That's cool, man. So now, what would you say inspired you to come up with that move? Was it That's Incredible, which was a spinning pile driver utilized by Just Incredible, or I'm not sure if you're a gamer at all, like if you play Street Fighter and stuff like that?
Zangief.
You know where I'm going with this. Yeah, you just said it, Zangief, man, because that's the most famous spinning pile driver move. So what inspired you to do that move?
It was just me trying to do something different. I was trying to find a move that a lot of people don't do, and I made sure I looked on YouTube, and I couldn't find a whole bunch of people or even videos of spinning tombstones. So I looked up. I found a guy. I forgot what company it was for, but I saw him. He did one, and it looked good. So I was like, hey, let me try that. I also looked at Just Incredible.
Yeah.
Now, when I looked at his, my whole goal was to stand out and not really say, oh, hey, he's doing it. That's incredible. So a lot of times if you look, I try to do a full rotation with mine. Just Incredible only did it like a quarter of a rotation.
Right.
So when people say, oh, you stole that from Just Incredible, I'm like, no, if you look at his move, mine differs because I try to, like, a lot of times I do like a full rotation, or even like almost a full rotation. He never did a full rotation.
Yeah. So you basically took something that was incredible and made it even more, impactful and whatnot. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, sir. So Dale, what you got next for Mr. Grimm here?
Well, so from the video which we've seen, you utilize a mixture of high flying and strong style. So if you could put a label on your ring style, what would it be?
I would definitely I would say I'm smash mouth. That's how I would describe it.
Okay.
I mean, you'll get I like, the whole strong style aspect, working that way. But I also put like a little bit of a flair on it because I can, I'm a 270-pound guy,
yes,
who does 450s and dives and everything else.
Right.
So you never know what to expect when it comes to me.
Yeah, man. So check this out. Okay, one of the main reasons, and you and I have kind of had this conversation before on Facebook, direct message, that kind of intrigued me about you and made me want to have you as a guest on my show was because of your gimmick. I used to work a gimmick where I was the hired gun, and the hired gun was inspired by the movie Ghost Dog. Basically he worked, as a contract killer who kind of, lived by the way of the samurai and whatnot. But I mean, I'm noticing a lot of similarities in our gimmick, but I told Dale this prior to the show. I said, this dude took what I was trying to accomplish with the hired gun and took it to a whole nother level because you're far more athletic, and whatnot. You get around the ring a lot better and whatnot. You're a high flyer. That stuff I was not ever able to do, during my time in the ring. So I'm just kind of curious, what actually, helped you kind of develop your Hitman persona? Because I saw that that's not where you started in your career. I think when you first started off, you had kind of a football gimmick, right?
Can we not talk about that?
That's cool. So tell us the history of your Hitman persona. I want to know, bro.
Honestly, it was just about trying to stand out. Because when I did the football gimmick, I didn't do research with it. I didn't know that it was already a couple of established workers that was doing a football gimmick. So I really didn't get work because of that. Because they're like, hey, we already have, the D-line. We already have Mr. Touchdown. So why do we need you? That's kind of how it was. So when I came up with the gimmick, I was in a tag team with a guy named Sidney Porter. And we were called the Something Hitman. So I literally just took that name, and I was like, hey, how many people do Hitman gimmicks? I looked, and I saw Danny Moff and his partner. They do like the Hit Squad,
right?
But they weren't hit. And I just went down the line of everybody who were, people that were doing similar gimmicks. I found bounty hunters, and I didn't really find anybody calling themselves a hitman for hire.
Right.
So that's really, just standing out. I had to stand out to make sure that I would actually get bookings this time around.
Okay. Yeah, because I noticed from like at the very beginning when you started doing that, working that gimmick, you kind of sport a similar look, almost like to Mr. Hughes, like where you had the business shirt, the sleeves cut off and whatnot, and then you kind of changed it up a bit. But the one thing that really caught my eye was the gloves coming from out of the briefcase. You take your gloves out of your briefcase and you put those on because those are your weapons, right?
Yes, sir.
I love it because that's what I used to do when I was the hired gun, man. And like I always thought that was kind of, you know, like the whole thing. No, I'm not pulling like a weapon out of my my briefcase. The weapons are right here. I'm just putting on the gloves just to kind of make it, you know, official and whatnot. So okay, so yeah. Now that we've kind of gotten some, you know, some background history on you, we have some questions about the rest of your career. So Dale, go ahead and what you got for him.
So obviously you're 4 years in and continue to look forward. But what would you say would be your ultimate dream match if you could ever have it? Was with somebody current or with somebody in the past?
Ultimate dream match. I mean, I hate the fact that you said match because that means it's singular, not plural. But I'm definitely, I've been trying to work Jeff Cobb or Keith Lee for like the longest. So I would have to say that would be, you know, a dream match of mine. Keith Lee or Jeff Cobb.
Yeah. Keith Lee's a favorite of ours here at the No Gimmicks Podcast. He just won the WWN World Title recently.
Yep, I saw that.
Okay. So that was the second part of the question. You know, what would the stipulation in the match be? So maybe possibly Mr. Grimm versus, you know, Keith Lee for the WWN World Heavyweight Title, huh? That sound good?
Hey, if it happens, it happens.
Okay.
You know, with this business, you never know what will and what can happen. So I just go with the flow.
Hey, so here's another question for you. You're a family man, obviously. You know, what having to travel for all these shows that you're doing, you know, that could definitely sometimes pose a challenge. So what helps you balance those work-life responsibilities that you have?
I pretty much, like, a lot of times I bring my family with me.
Oh, okay.
Like, as you can see, I mean, the heads that are in, that's peeking at you right now in the back.
I see a little one back there.
Yeah, so, I mean, they've, you know, my sons, they come to a lot of the shows. You know, my mother, she travels with me as well.
Okay.
You know, she's been a big help.
Yeah.
So it's like I try to make sure that if I'm going on a show, to not miss family time, you know, I bring them along. And my youngest son, he really isn't into wrestling like that. So when I bring him, I try to make sure, like, during the week or the next week, if I don't have a show, you know, take him to Chuck E. Cheese or something to make up for it.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this question real quick. You walk up in the Chuck E. Cheese, man, and somebody recognize you. They're like, oh, shoot, here comes Mr. Grimm. And, like, people start ducking, dodging outside the way, you know, all that. I mean.
That's funny.
I'm just messing with you. Dale, what you got next from Mr. Grimm?
So what are some of your career goals? Where do you think see yourself being in 5 years?
In 5 years?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, but, you know, of course I would hope to either be, like, you know, a mainstay in WWE or ROH, possibly Evolve, New Japan. But, like I was telling other people, like, this isn't something that I plan on doing for the rest of my life. At a certain point, if I'm not where I need to be, then I'll probably just, you know, retire and just focus more on my family. So, you know, my kids, you know, I can help them pursue their goals.
Right. I can understand that. Which leads us to our next question. What are some of your interests outside of the ring? And, you know, what would your alternate career be?
I started school. I started going to school to be a teacher. So that's definitely, you know, something that I want to keep pursuing. I know teachers don't really make that much, but, you know, sometimes it's not about the money. It's about the impact that you have in the kid's life.
Exactly.
But outside of wrestling, definitely working out. I play YuGiOh Duel Links a lot on my phone. That takes up a lot of my time.
Okay.
And I drive for Uber. I mean, I love the fact that with Uber I make my own schedule. I can leave when I want. Don't have to put in time off. Have to get somebody to cover my shift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and meeting new people, like when I'm driving for Uber, I really love doing that. And definitely, spending time with my family, because when every chance I get, I make sure that I spend time with my family, because at the end of the day, you have to realize you're not going to be here every day. They're not going to be here every day. So it's like you have to, enjoy the time that you have with them.
Exactly. Couldn't have said better myself. So for those of us who aren't quite exactly familiar with YuGiOh, explain to everyone what exactly that is.
It's basically like a game that has like a lot of monsters, that you can battle with each other against, different types, different levels. They have trap cards, magic cards, ritual cards. It's fun. If you don't have YuGiOh Duel Links, you need to download it like yesterday.
Okay. I might have to check that out, man. Dale, what you got next from Mr. Grimm?
So, who designs your singlets and the logo on your briefcase?
Okay, so I have a guy named Johnny Joseph Flores. He does all of my my designs. Coy Phillips, he actually made the gear. Like my first two gear, the first gear that I had, the one that you were referring to when I had the Mr. Hughes look,
Yes.
and the other, the first singlet that I had, the purple one with the green on it, that was made by Main Event Gear. And unfortunately, they made a mistake and made my skull purple and not pink. So that's where that purple came along at. But yeah, Coy Phillips, he does a good job on making them, and I pretty much stick with him now. But Johnny Joseph Flores, all of the logos that you see, the shirt designs that I have, everything involving a picture, he's the one who does it. He's actually a comic book artist, and I actually have a comic book that's coming out that should be done probably within the next couple of months.
Okay, that's sick, man. So yeah, so once we get towards the end of the interview and we kind of give you the floor is yours, you have to explain a little bit more to our viewers and us about that. So I just gotta say this real quick. Your briefcase is next level compared to mine, bro. When I was the hitman, when I was the hired gun, I basically just used a camera case that was laying around at the PCW shows. I asked the promoter of the show if I could borrow that and carry it down to the ring with me, and he let me use that on the spot. So I didn't have something actually, like set up like you did, and having someone design it for me and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to what I was saying about being different. If I'm going to do a gimmick, I want to make sure that, I'm doing it full throttle.
Yes, sir. So now it just so happens that you're sitting in your car right now. And one of the more clever promos, which I saw from you, involved you sitting in your car and you had company in the trunk of your car. Somebody kept on pounding and it sounded like they were screaming for help and they wanted to get out, and you made sure that you silenced them for quite a while. So I'm just kind of curious, who was that in the trunk of the car during that promo, man, but begging and screaming for help?
It's a secret, man.
If you told me, you'd have to kill me, right?
No, not at all. I wouldn't tell you so.
All right. It's fair enough, man. Dale, what you got next for him?
Well, I'm since you said you had a comic book coming up, I was kind of a little bit interested in that one. What is it about?
Honestly, it's just about, it's like I'm a superhero in the comic. And I didn't write it. I didn't, do the backstory or anything like that. The guy, it's a guy named Lance. He's the writer, and Johnny, he does the pictures. So usually I let him do all of that. I have 100% faith in him, and everything he puts out is always genius. So, it's kind of like as a favor to me. They're just doing it as a secret. They're not giving me too much detail, but I do see pictures here and there about, the comic.
Very cool, man. Very cool. So now, what advice would you have to give to some newcomers in the wrestling business? Now that you're a couple years in, you've covered a lot of ground and seen a lot and had, some big matches and whatnot. Like somebody who's starting out day one, what would you tell them?
For one, first thing, your eyes and ears open, keep your mouth closed. Definitely. Always network. If somebody has an opportunity for you to, network, get in the car, take that opportunity. because the thing that's helped me out the most is just hopping in the car. If somebody says, hey, I have an extra seat, I hopped in the car, went to the show, networked, and 9 times out of 10, I was either put on that show or the next show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually helped me to, build my resume the way that I have just by showing up.
Yep.
Like, that's the biggest thing in wrestling. You have to show up. If somebody, like, on Facebook, I always post, hey, I have an extra seat in the car. Is anybody interested? I don't get hit up very often about that. It's like, the guy today, he needed more people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Atlanta right now, for a show that I got hit up about, like, 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
The guy told me, hey, man, you can bring whoever you want. Like, they'll get on the show.
Cool.
A lot of times I post it, and I don't say it's a guaranteed opportunity because I want to see who's going to take advantage of it, not expecting anything. People like that, it shows me that, they actually have drive. And, they have passion for it and just want to network. So for the newer people that are coming in, just take advantage of that because you'll never know who's there. You'll never know who's going to watch you. And you'll never know, like, if anything will pop up.
Yeah, true. Truth be told. You, your home base is the Washington, D.C. area, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, just checking on that. So, Dale, why don't you go ahead and help us wrap this on up, man?
Well, first off, I want to thank Mr. Grimm for coming on the show, and now it's going to be your opportunity to let us know where your future appearances are going to be.
All right, so next week I'm in a ladder match with Lance, Anoa'i, BJ Walker, Kai Katana, and some other people. I'm honestly looking forward to that because it'll be like my first legit ladder match.
Okay.
And this is at Pro Wrestling Empire. And that's, next Saturday that's coming up. After that, I will be in Baltimore for Baltimore Championship Wrestling. That's 10/28. Now, right after that, I'm heading to Tennessee for Southern Underground Pro. Then right after that, I'm heading to another show in Tennessee, which is in a different time zone, which is Bandit Wrestling.
Okay.
So after that, I'll just go from the first week of November. More than likely on Thursday, what is that, the 3rd? No, it might be the 2nd. I'm sorry, 9/2. Wait, not 9/2, 11/2. Oh, I'm getting mixed up. So November 2nd, that Thursday, I'll probably be in XWA in Rhode Island. On the 3rd, I'll be making my return to Limitless Wrestling. That's on Friday, and then I'll be making my debut for Battle Club, and that's in New Jersey.
All right. So, yeah, you got full.
You are all over the place.
Yeah.
That's good, though, man. That's good. Get those miles in. Hey, so did you say the name of your comic book that you have coming out?
No, I didn't. Honestly, I don't even know the name. They haven't disclosed that information to me yet.
The Chronicles of Mr. Grimm or something like that, or?
I have no clue, but it's crazy because he's a comic book artist, and he's like the comics that he comes up with, he puts me in his comics. So that's kind of weird to be able to say, hey, look, I'm in a comic, but it's kind of tight as well.
That's cool, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, who knows? We might get a crossover, Mr. Grimm versus the Punisher or something like that. That'd be
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Hey, so also let our viewers know how they can stay in touch with you on social media, man.
All right. So I'm a big market man, and marketing is like a big thing for me. And the best way that I can put it, go into your Google search bar, type in the Hitman for Hire Mr. Grimm with 1 M, and then click search, and all of my stuff will pop up.
Got you. Facebook.
That's the best way to do it. The very first thing you'll see is my Facebook like page. You can go click that and like it if you want. My YouTube page is connected to that. You can click on images. You can see, the different podcasts that I've done that I was a part of. Like, everything is on there.
Okay. Cool. So it's a one-stop shop. All right. So, hey, one thing is for sure. We can sit here and talk with my man, Mr. Grimm, all night long, but unfortunately, we have come to the end of this episode of No Gimmicks Podcast. So thank you, everyone, for joining us for our interview with the Hitman for Hire, Mr. Grimm. We are No Gimmicks, No Image, all wrestling all the time. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share our videos.